Hey there, welcome to the garden. I am getting back out here. I actually have been gone from the garden for the past 8 days, which feels like a long time. I don't usually spend that much time away from the garden. And obviously I've done a few things to help with the watering. Mr. Not So Reckless has done a great job watering the garden, but I did move some of the containers and put them in this little kiddie pool here. I'll show you a quick look at that while I was gone. So that was good. And now I just need to do some harvesting. I came out and harvested a ton of tomatoes. The tomato arch is just loaded. I harvested so many tomatoes off of it, and there's still so many on there. It's just full of tomatoes. It's actually kind of falling over, which I'm a little worried about. I mean, I could go in and trim the tomato arch, but I don't know. I kind of like it being crazy, and we are getting toward the end of the season here, so it's not like it's gonna go that much further. It is super full, and I need to come in and get all of the little spoon tomatoes off. So I harvested a lot of the Juliet tomatoes that were ripe on here, and then all these nice pretty Juliet tomatoes, and I just need to come in and harvest more of the spoon tomatoes, but they're just super small, so it just takes a little longer. My daughter also loves to harvest them too, so I can do that with her. And then there's a lot of spiders out here in this tomato arch. The only problem with having these arch trellises in your garden, which nobody tells you, is that they are the perfect home for spiders, and so you end up getting spiders everywhere the first few times you walk through the tomato arch during the day, because you'll end up getting cobwebs all over you. So what I'm going to do now is pull out all of the plants that are in this kiddie pool. This is a great thing if you are going out of town for a few days and you have a container garden that you haven't set up on a drip system or anything. Use like a kiddie pool, or even this is technically a dog kiddie pool. You can just use like a pool like that and put the plants in it and put some water in the bottom, and it just keeps them really happy. I do need to do a little grooming too now that I'm coming back, you know, from being away, things like that. Take all the flowers off of the coleus. We don't want that to, you know, them to be flowering. We're not ready for you to flower. Although if you do let your coleus go to flower, you will notice they're a big pollinator attractor. The bumblebees especially, I find, love my coleus. But this will also help the plant bush back out. So I think what I'm going to do is just set up the camera again, and I'm going to put all of these plants back into place, and then we need to do some harvesting too, because I don't think my husband really touched any of the plants as far as harvesting any of the fruit. So we've got eggplants and peppers, and there's even a few new things flowering out here that I need to get after. But I think I need to get all the containers back into place. I had a really fun time last week setting them all up in really cute spots, and I think I'm going to do basically the same arrangements with all of the edibles over here in this area, and then the flowers around the front, and then we'll just kind of go from there. The bugs are so loud right now. I hope it's not too loud for you listening. There's tons and tons of cicadas and different bugs, and then we actually have some thunderstorms rolling in, and that's why I wanted to just get out here and put everything back into place, so that once it rains, that everything can just get a good rain. They did stay pretty well watered. I think I maybe only lost like one plant, which is pretty good when you go away. But this time of year is a little easier. It's hard to leave the garden like right in the beginning of the season. I always find like those June vacations are a little hard, because you're like, oh, the garden's just coming in. But now in August, it was a little easier, and everything did really well too. All right, let's get these containers back into place. bush beans really got big. My Angelonia are just thriving this year, and I'm so happy to see it because they're really so beautiful. I've got some more over here too that are just doing so well, and they're such a pretty flower. I'm really happy to see that they're thriving so much. I actually got some seed for them. Now these I have grown from just starts from the garden center, but I was excited to see some seeds, so I will let you know more about those when they arrive. But I'm pretty excited about it, and I just think it's like the prettiest rosy pink. So there's also one in this little container. This is the window box that I redid and like just threw all the plants in, and this corner for sure is looking good. You know, the rest of it looks a little like not completely great, but the black petunias are kind of rebounding. So I don't know, I'm gonna pull this out here and see where I want to put this window box and what I want to do with it, because it's just kind of fun. Maybe I'll just put it like right along the front of my vegetable area. That might be good. I can move the beans. I don't know what I think about this location, but I'm going to keep it there for now. I'm just playing around with how to best utilize a rectangle container like this. I did have it up in front of the raised bed here to add like kind of basically additional raised bed space, and I think honestly that was pretty ideal. That was like really a great spot. Sorry, the neighbor's air conditioner just turned on. It's so loud. It's so hard with the air conditioners, but I hope you can still hear me. I'm gonna move this container over here in the corner. That's where it's gonna go, and then I'm gonna harvest. Oh, it's so pretty. These little blue flowers are closed right now, but in the morning they will open up and they will be so pretty. And then I just need to take off, do a little deadheading on the petunias. But we got the garden kind of reset, and tomorrow I will do some more cleanup and figure out what I want to do with this guy right here. You can't even hear me with all the sound. I'm gonna go ahead and just pick a few eggplants before I sign off for tonight. Let's grab, this is one of my white knight eggplants over here. So fun. And then there's a couple here that's ready. These are such a nice size eggplants. They're just really easy to utilize. I'm gonna have to do something with eggplants this week. I've got a couple here. And I think I got, just set these on the doorway. I think there's a bunch more eggplants in here. There are. Now this is the eggplants that are covered in ants. So that's a little annoying for harvesting. I don't know what's going on. Got a lot of ants in the garden right now. So I gotta kind of figure that situation out. Let's see if I can get this eggplant off. I'm gonna harvest maybe a couple of these mystery peppers and keep tasting them, but I want to leave some and see if they turn red or yellow or kind of what happens with these. I'm looking over here too, and there's some tasks. This cucumber in this bed is dying, so I do need to get working on this garden bed right here, but I'm gonna come out and do all of that at a later time. I think it is too hot and too loud, so I will check back in with you later. All right, good morning. I'm back out in the garden, coffee in hand and a clippers. Gonna see if there's anything else I need to harvest that I missed last night. It was so loud and buggy, I just decided to come in. I also might do a little fertilizing because I realized that the containers haven't been fertilized since I've been away. So, you know, I try to do that once a week, although I will admit I have fallen off a little bit over the last few weeks, but I think I've been getting to it at least like, you know, every other week. So I did see a fun flower that I wanted to show you before I got anything started. I don't want to forget. All right, over here. Okay, well first, before we look at the flower, these are my squash are not growing quite as, I would think they would be a little bit bigger and more robust. These are the lemon squash that I planted, but I'm wondering if they're not getting like as much sun as they need, so I might move this plant over a little bit so they just get a little bit more sun. We'll see if my second season, or my late season I should say, crop of the lemon squash do anything. I might just need to pop a little fertilizer in them. You know, it looks a little bit like they could use something. And then these are the Jimmy Nardello peppers, and this pepper has been so like, it just, you know, it's been in this random grow bag. It's sort of been shoved around and pushed to the side, but it has just been producing and producing. And so, I mean, just what an amazing pepper. I'm so thrilled. Peppers are such good container plants. So amazing. Okay, and then here over here. So this is the unheated greenhouse area, which we're gonna deal with those soon. And we've got the beautiful butterfly bush, Pugster blue butterfly bush, looking fabulous. But this vine, so this has taken a long time in the season, but this is a really pretty black-eyed Susan vine. I think it's called oh, if I can figure out the name, I'll try to put it in the video, but it's a really pretty, I think I got these seeds from Baker Creek, and they're like these apricot black-eyed Susan vines. Oh my goodness, so beautiful. This is one, takes a little longer to get going, so I probably should have started it a bit earlier. It's kind of taken a minute, but now it's doing its thing. And finally something is growing on the unheated greenhouse frame. Of course, pretty soon I'm gonna put the cover back on here, so it's a little bit belated, but that's a really pretty vine. And I'm definitely gonna grow that again. A good one to know for next year's garden. And I love the black-eyed Susan vines are really pretty. They come in, you know, white and yellow and all the different colors, but that kind of like apricot-y tones, of course, that has been the theme of the garden this year. And I think it's really, really beautiful. I'm trying to decide if I want to try to get in here and get that cucumber out. I don't know if I'm going to, but it probably would be a good thing. This area of the garden has gotten really thick and crazy, which I expected. I mean, my garden, I don't have much space, so my garden beds are super close together, and it makes it a bit tricky for harvesting. It's something I'm kind of working on figuring. I don't know if I can really get in here to do much work on it. I do have, so this tall thing, this is my Mexican sunflower, which is one of my favorite plants ever. I adore Mexican sunflowers, and it's gonna be so pretty once it blooms. It's just gonna take over that area. I Gotta watch out. More spider friends this morning. They're all over the garden. Okay, sweeping is in order today. So I think I'm just gonna sweep up, and that'll be a good step. And then actually, I did want to show you this too. Super funny. Do you see that growing up? That is my pumpkin vine. So these, I think this is the Jackby Little Pumpkin, which was supposed to have a short vine. But let me tell you, pumpkins are just, every pumpkin I've met is kind of crazy. And it's growing all over in here. I'm hoping maybe I will get some pumpkins off of it. I can see, that's a female flower there. It'd be kind of fun to just have pumpkins like growing on the fence. I'm just gonna let it do its thing. I'll let it be completely wild. I grew Cinderella pumpkins in this garden the first year I had it, and it literally, the Cinderella vine like took over the entire garden space. Pumpkin vines just go crazy. And I thought that the Jackby Little was supposed to be kind of like more like 4 or 5 foot vine, but that's doing all kinds of things. That's going everywhere. I have seen, I think there is some kind of pumpkin that grows like more like a bush style, kind of like a zucchini, and I don't know. I gotta go. I'm gonna go try to see if I can find it. If I can ever figure out what seeds it is, or what variety it is, I will try to put it in a video, because that is something that would be awesome. And for next year, I just went and ordered a bunch of seeds last night, and I'm gonna do a bunch of vines in this first bed next year. I'm kind of excited about it. So that's gonna be, maybe I'll try to find like a more of a bush style pumpkin. I think there's one. Maybe it's the Weeby Little, but don't quote me on that, because obviously you never quite know what's going to happen with a pumpkin. But this is looking a little wild, needs a little taming. I think I'm going to sweep up, and after I sweep, everything will look better, because that always helps make things look tidy. And then I don't think I'm even going to try to get into this area. There is a cucumber back there, and the cucumber vines are pretty spent, but I'm not ready to do like my full fall clean out yet. So I think I'm just gonna leave this and let this be wild. Although I may harvest a couple of these zinnias. Maybe, maybe I'll harvest a couple of these, because I got a little fall container and I want to put some zinnias in it. I ordered a bunch more millet for next year too, because I love the look of that millet. It's grown there all season and been beautiful, and now in the fall it looks perfect. And the other fall thing that's growing really beautifully is the corn. Look at this. Is that not like the most fun? So if you grow it really close together like this in a container, it doesn't take on, well, it takes a while to get those big corn stalks. It won't get a full size, but it's still really like beautiful. It almost looks like some kind of millet or grass or something. It'll grow up a bit more though, I am expecting. And my jigsaw peppers are getting ready for fall. Oh, and here's another bloom. See, I just have to keep showing you things, because we're back in the garden after so long, so I have to show you everything. But my Stillwater's clematis started blooming again. And is that not gorgeous? And next to the eucalyptus. Oh, I love it. Jigsaw peppers, eucalyptus, and then a Stillwater's clematis next to it. Yeah. And the Terenia is happy. Oh, it makes me so good. The only thing that's really looking not great after my trip, and I don't think this is any fault of watering, but I had issues with this plant last year. This is the Blackjack Gold Black-Eyed Susan, which I really love. I mean, it's a beautiful plant, but it's a little bit, it gets a little pest problems. Like, I don't know what's happening, but it's such a pretty Black-Eyed Susan. And it's such like a perfect fall Black-Eyed Susan. So, like it just looks so fall and pretty. I might just go ahead and plant it. It's been in a container, and it's done pretty well in a container, but it's sort of a tall, thin plant. And so it's kind of hard for a container. So I may go up and put that over there where I transplanted the other things, which have died back a bit, but I can see some leaves at the bottom. So I just need to get in and do a little bit of work, but we'll keep doing that this week. We have plenty of time. All right, last flower we're gonna look at, and then I'm gonna sign off. Here is the yellow milkweed. Don't see any monarchs on it yet, but last year my monarchs were late. I didn't get monarch caterpillars until really the fall. So I'm still waiting on that patiently. Last year I got them I remember around my daughter was born in end of September, and then we had little monarchs all over the milkweed. So that's probably going to become later. So that's really pretty. And I'm going to turn on the fountain and clean this out as well. Well, we got the garden all swept up. It is looking clean and beautiful. I'm going to start some fall stuff coming up here soon, so stay tuned for that. I can't believe September is like right around the corner. Not quite ready for pumpkins, I don't think, but we may be getting there sooner rather than later. But as always, thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you soon. All right, bye-bye.